I just created a channel Don Langer News, and today I have to do a video literature review about The Punisher, Born. So let's jump right into it. So here we are. This is Punisher Max. It's supposed to be a complete collection volume 1. And the only thing I'll be covering is the Born series, issue number 1. And what I'll do is I'll skip a couple pages because I don't want to get a copyright strike. So let's just go right here. Perfect. So what we're seeing is a bunch of guys just sitting around in Vietnam in 1971. And they're seeing the AC-130 coming in. But suddenly it gets shot down. And you can see in their face that they're just completely freaking out. And while the bird is burning, we'll see it slowly crash. And the guys are just running. I mean, those guys are on the run. And the bird hits hard. And going right next to the next page, we see the bird burn. And we get a little dialogue where it says, "I told you. Shit. Pay up, motherfucker. No way he was gonna make it with that wing all fucked up like that. We gonna go after them? Charlie be long gone by the time we got down. Their captain knows that." So there's a lot of interesting facts going on because the guys are really casual about it. And I'm a veteran, and every soldier copes differently about what they do when they're deployed. And those guys are really, those guys been there long because they've been betting if the bird is crashing. They don't really care. It's just a transaction. And let's look at this guy, Stevie. One of the main characters in the story, and he's just completely desensitized what just happened. And he's like, well, who cares? But the reason is that he's in his own mind, and that's how he deals with his deployment. He's like, well, I'm on patrol. I'll be here all the time, and let's see what's going on in his mind. And it says right here, I'm down to 39 days in a wake up, and that magic day will step aboard the big freedom bird and leaves this place behind forever. So that guy is just ready to go home. Had a couple weeks left to fly back, and we see him go on patrol. And you know what I enjoy about this kind of mode? It's so visual. The visuals are great. It's just we're in the jungle, guys on patrol. We're not giving too much like weird, crazy dialogue or boring storytelling. And I like the detail on it. Like we see the flask, the grenades, cigarettes. Really detailed. And those guys are really just completely out of regulation. The guy puts his machine gun on his shoulder. Today you would probably get chewed out pretty hard on that. But those guys running around. On the next page, we see our main guy, the Punisher, Frank Castle. And in Stevie's mind, let's see what he says about, I will not fall in love the war like Captain Castle. Frank Castle is the finest officer the Marines of Firebase Valley Forge have ever known. He's the reason I'm sure I will survive this. So a few things we know is Stevie knows he's not going to die hanging on Captain Castle. And we know that he'll become the Punisher. But this is kind of his origin story, what he did in Vietnam. And we can just see in his facial expression right here, man. That guy is all about business. He's just ready to roll out and take down the enemy. And we see, the thing is, most dialogue is driven by Stevie. And he has a lot of daydreaming going on where he just wants to go home, but he's stuck on patrol with Captain Castle. And right here, we get the first sign of trouble. Captain Castle raising his left hand. So what we got going on next is, we get this really nice scenery of, it looks like nothing is going on. We'll just, beautiful view of the river, trees. And we have the guys. Those guys are on point. Already set up to go to war. Hiding, getting in position, readying their rifles. And there we see a supply run from Charlie. And what is great about those pages is it doesn't mess around too much. It goes straight into action, right into position, right into the engagement. And the really next page, those guys are getting ripped apart. Shredded. Look at those guys. The cow gets hit. Grenade blows up. Blood, gory stuff, and a lot of just firing going on. No dialogue, the images are driving the whole story pretty much right here. let's go to our next page, and now I think that's Stevie right there, and you see him like he just takes down a guy, and we can assume he just hits this dude right in the eye. Good shooting, and I mean look at this scene right here. You got a M60 machine gunner just blasting that tree. He knows he's behind it. We know Charlie's behind it, and he just keeps firing. And I'm like, I mean that dude is literally fucked. And right here we see the tree doesn't hold up too long. The guy moves, and man, that guy gets shredded. I mean, ripped apart. And you know what? There's no break to that because right here, we got the grenade launcher guy, New York Yankees. Pretty cool stuff. Nice detail too. But he hits the freaking cow, and bang, that blows up. People, I mean, those guys are running. And what is worse, I mean, those guys don't get a break. We have no BS going on here. Tripwire. Bang. Blows up. And next page, I mean, we see those guys flying, just shining right there. Gruesome stuff, and man, the Marines, they don't show mercy. Let's read that dialogue right here. It says, "Fuckers bugging out. Ted Rowe. Hey Charlie, go deep." Throws the grenade. Guys are laughing, and we know that guy's dead. He's gone. But look how casual those guys are. They're like, you know what, I'm ready to fight, I'm ready to kill, I've been here for way too long. And Captain Castle, he's a good commander. He's really casual, like, well, the war's not over. We need to keep going. And there we go. We go a little bit back to Stevie's dialogue. "I will have sons. When the big freedom bird takes me home, I will make love to many, many beautiful women. And when I meet the most beautiful of all, I will marry her that very day." And that's where, again, we go into coping because look at Stevie smiling. He's like, man, I'm just ignoring what just happened. You see the guy, I mean, sculpting that guy. You see the river of blood. I mean, the guys are just into it. But Stevie's like, you know what? It's just a job. I killed him. A couple of weeks left to go home. Let me just smile about it. So he's just, I mean, he has two faces right there. The war and then ready to go home. And that's the way he copes with it. In his mind, he's always ready to go home. And that's what makes this comic so beautiful because, I mean, it shows so many sides of not only Stevie, Captain Castle, and the Marines, but it shows them like, it's a really good portrayal of war. Because, I mean, I've been to Afghanistan. I did my fair share of running missions. And those guys, I mean, looking at it, those guys are pretty, I mean, those guys are set up. Good commander, soldiers ready to fight, and so on. So let's go to the next page. The next page is a complete shift of tone. We go straight into Captain Castle reporting to his commander, Captain Ottman, I believe. And here we'll just, I mean, the images are cool because what I like about it is this is like a no BS scene right there. Captain Castle reporting straight up, a 21 recon killed in action, recovering hundreds plus AKs and RPGs. And it goes into, like, that's what happened, that's our report. And the dialogue drives it with really well. And we see, like, I mean, we have nudity going on. Like, you need to have something to relieve yourself, you know what I mean. But not only is this really well pictured, what's going on right here, the conversation is straight about business. Hey, this is what happened, this is what's going on. And right here, I like this dialogue out because Colonel Ottman says, "General Patton will be here in an hour. Surprise inspection." Patton, General Patton. I want you to give him a tour of the base. And Captain Cat's like, me? I'll be sick by the time he gets here. Malaria again. So, I mean, you can tell he's not sick. The Colonel doesn't really care about the war. He's just here to conduct his business. And that's another scene of war where, you know what, war is not really, it's not personal, straight up. People make it personal, but you know what, you're here to do your job, your duty. And Colonel Ottman's more like, you know what, I really don't give a fuck about this war. And let me have Captain Castle, because he's dedicated. And Captain Castle knows that. And, you know, Frank Castle knows the Colonel is bullshit. And we see it in a lot of his dialogue. And right here it says, just like all the other captain, you got an hour before Patton arrives. You should see about getting the place squared away. Don't be so fucking stupid. That's just Captain Castle's response. Because, you know, he's running the camp. And it's bullshit. That's just bullshit. The commander just gives his duty away to another commander, and that shouldn't be happening. He should be running the camp. But let's go straight to the other page. What is great about this page, it doesn't mess around. I mean, let's go straight back. You see Steve saying, I know that look. And you see a short scene where the guys look at Castle, and they know, oh man, that's some trouble right there. And that's where, again, what I like about this comic is, it doesn't mess around too much. It goes straight from scene to scene to scene. And there's a lot of dialogue here, but I'm just gonna... I mean, he just says right here, why is Firebase Valley Forge a complete and total fuck story? And he pretty much says about the blatant disrespect of soldiers not saluting the general. You have people doing drugs, machine guns nest, undermanned positions. I mean, it's all that garbage going on. But with all the seriousness, we have a little bit of humor going on right here. Because General Patton, he's a short guy, and we have Frank Castle. I mean, Frank's probably 6 foot tall, and it's good humor. It fits. But when we look at their facial expression, we know those guys mean business. Look at the general. He's like, what's going on right here? Report to me. And you know what? Captain Castle is straightforward. He's like, that's the shit that's going on. And the general's like, fuck this shit. You know what? This is a mess, and you just confirming my report. And right here, we just have a little dialogue saying, you know what? We're on the Cambodian border. We're the only patrol. Everything's undermanned. We're doing our best. And the general's like, well, let's go right to the dialogue right here. Charlie will no longer be your concern. Once you and the rest of this rabble are shipped out of here, you're going home. If I have any say in this matter, you will be leaving the Marine Corps. And then the clothes you will... So I apologize everyone, my camera just died, had to delete some stuff. So let's go back straight into business. So right here, General Patton pretty much said he just wanted to confirm what's going on, because the war is drawing down, and he just wants to close down the base. And you know what? Captain Castle, he's there to take care of business. He wants to kill the enemy. And General Patton, he's like, well, right here, the fragging of officers a myth, Captain. That's exactly the kind of bullshit the peace freaks are to give this war a bad name. Now you answered my question and you make it goddamn good. What the hell is being done to restore order here? And Castle just gives he tries his best to explain, you know what, we run a manpower, ammunition supply, we're doing our patrols, we're running out and kill the enemy. And he's just straightforward. And Patton just wanted to hear just that, saying, you know what, there's no point of fighting this war. And Patton, right here, like I said before, we're done here. But then we have a really interesting moment right here, because Captain Cal says, General, if you'll come with me, I'll show you incontrovertible evidence that Firebase Valley Forge has to remain open. For Christ's sake. Be advised you are on thin fucking ice with me, mister. It'll be well worth your time, General. Believe me. That's how we go to the good stuff. This is it. What is it? You can see it better from out at the end of the ridge. See what? If you go to the end of the ridge, you'll see what I mean. Jesus. Well, what is it? What the fuck am I supposed to be looking at out here? And right here it says, danger, sniper work. Sniper work, dawn to dust. And we see his head getting blasted off. This is a really good panel, 2 pages, I mean. It's because you see Frank Castle's face, hey, I'm not gonna get you away with that. I want this war. He lures him in, Patton falls forward. We go right into the ridge. And you know what, right here, he's just covering up the freaking sign. Didn't see it, goes up in the ridge. And just like Vietnam, you just don't walk up a ridge and, snipers are always surrounding the base. And that's where he gets his head blown off. And we go right into the next scene where they pick up the body. The soldiers make fun, well, he's a general, couldn't you read a freaking sign? And Stevie doesn't care. He looks at Captain Castle. And that's where we have the really interesting dialogue because we have an inner voice in here going on. It says, "Very clever, Frank. You got your way. You got your war stay of execution, but it won't last. You know that. The things the general said are true. The wonderland of yours is coming to an end. I know you love this war. Talk all you want about your duty, about stopping Charlie creeping in and killing half of First Corps in its sleep. We both of us know that isn't it. When did you ever feel so alive, so full of fierce black joy?" And the last page right here. "I can fix it so you can do this forever. There'll be a price to pay, but you can keep on going and never have to stop. Just say the word and I can fix it. Who am I? Is that what you're asking? Well, who do you think I am, Frank?" And that's pretty much the end of the issue. And what I want to say is, this comic has such a great pace. It doesn't give you too much or too little, just the right amount of information. It jumps right into brutal moments. I mean, we went from plane crashing, patrol, killing, a couple places of killing. That's a pretty, good section. Report, General Patton getting fucked over, and then the inner dialogue of Frank Castle. And the little thing is, I used to read a lot of comics, and there's a comic called Moon Knight, came out in 2006, and Moon Knight worships a moon god, and in the way how they look at this is, so back into what I said, Moon Knight. So I read an issue where the moon god saw Punisher, and Punisher just looked at him just as he was just another. Well, I mean, Moon Knight just looked at him as like he was a crazy killer, but the moon god said something really unique. The moon god said, "Look how he represents his god, how he worships him." Because Punisher has, he has this Punisher shirt with a skull on. And the moon god says, "Well, look how he represents his god, his entity." And the moon god's trying to say that Moon Knight sucks. I mean, in this issue, he's really conflicted, but Punisher takes care of business. And I almost want to relate and connect those two comics where right here we see Frank Castle talking to his inner voice, but I believe he's driven by a darker force. And this dialogue just says, "Well, I can fix it forever. I mean, I can fix it and last it forever." And if we keep reading to issue 6, we will see that the ending dialogue. I mean, I'm just going to skip to it really quick, just because it's right here. Let's see. Well, right here, in this dialogue, the voice says, "You have to remember when you agreed to me, there's a price to pay, and his price was his family." And the evil entity pretty much says, "Well, you're not even going to remember this conversation. Like, and who am I? Let's just say we're in the same line of work, Frank. And I've been at it for a lot longer than you. Let's just say we'll be good friends. Also, you'll never hear from me again, and you'll keep me busy doing what I like to do." And what is brutal about it is, I believe, in this comic, Punisher Born, and in the Moon Knight 2006 issue, it just confirms that something darker, like some entities driving Punisher to do that. And right there, he even says, like, "You will not remember me at all. I mean, I'm a mere memory, and you will just please me without knowing." And that is my ending conclusion to my video review. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. Hopefully you'll subscribe. I don't plan to run this YouTube channel at all. It's just for homework assignment, but definitely was fun, interesting, and don't like your news. See you guys.